Yes, Lord.
I'm like, please don't go away. Okay.
All right, cool. All right. So we done with that one.
Yeah.
No, the IG guys are on our side. Let's see. Let's start Facebook. See what they're doing.
Okay.
Hey, people. Good. All right, we are on both pages. Hey,
Perfect.
back up a little bit. All right, cool.
I want to see if it.
I know. You just want to try it anyway,
I
right?
will try it anyway. You
Yeah, go ahead and try it anyway. I was gonna tell you to do the same thing. Go ahead and try it anyway. Like go to my Facebook and see.
Yep. I got you.
All right, y'all. So we are gonna get started. We're gonna give everybody a few more minutes just to jump on. Just to jump on and come on in.
Okay. Yes. Yes. No. Nope. It won't even let me request.
All right, it's okay. They,
Okay.
they, they don't want us to do
Try.
great. It's all right. So just go on yours.
Yep. I'm gonna head over there and go live right here and say hello. All right. Here we go.
All right. So for those of y'all who joined us on time, thank you so much.
Hey,
You can
everybody.
share this video and like the video and tell your friends about the videos. Tonight's subject is going to be so helpful. It is not my norm conversation, and I'm so excited about that because it is so well needed. And so I really hope that y'all can find some little nuggets in this conversation, some jewels to take back with you. So y'all might want to get some paper and pen out. I rarely tell y'all that, but y'all might want to get some paper and pen out and kind of write down some of this information, or maybe rewatch the video, at another time, because there are going to be some such great information on here tonight. All right, so let me see what time it is. It is all right. We can get started. It's 8:05. Yes, all the Jews for everybody that's on time. I know I switched a little bit. I'm sitting low tonight. I was doing my stretches and I decided to stay down low. So that's why I'm sitting down here. But it feels really good. And I was actually outside grounding today a little bit with this cold weather, but it feels great on my feet. And for those of y'all who don't know, grounding is a technique that a lot of people use, not just therapists. And it's not just for mental health, but it is definitely for well-being. And it is an opportunity for you to feel closer to the ground, essentially, and all the properties that come from Earth and all the great energy that comes from that, and to kind of rebalance yourself. So it is something that I do. Not as often as I used to, but I definitely do it a couple times. Sometimes when my ground is really hot, sometimes when it's cold. Kim, I know you ground,
Hmm.
so
Every
you
day.
know, every day yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So it's a good thing. Grounding is cool. So, all right. So anyway, we'll jump right into it. So tonight's topic is food and feelings. We're not going to say food versus feelings because they're not enemies,
And
but food and feelings. And I'm such an eater. It's a thing. I think all of us love food, right? And so, regardless of what part of the world you live in, what your socioeconomic status is, what your living lifestyle is, food is essential. Some of us have an abundance of it. Some of us may not have not nearly as much as we need. And so, with that being said, we need to really I'm hoping that we can make more of a conscious effort what goes in because it'll directly affect what's coming out, meaning our emotional well being, our feelings, our health. And so I want to introduce to you all a friend of mine. We have known each other since we were 8. So we are aging each other quite a while. Um, and we call her Gray. Some people call her Kim, but um, Kim, I'm gonna let you tell people what you do.
Ooh, resume. It's long, but it's just more like been a learning experience through the different careers that I've had. But um, I've landed in the food industry, and everything from learning how to butcher meat in a grocery store to vegan scratch restaurant in downtown Atlanta. Just food costing, learning how to prep meals, how to sell them at cost, and make the most of what you buy.
Yeah.
So that's where I am right now, still teaching, still learning, moving around, helping as many people as I can.
And with that, she started to put these videos up sometimes through whether it's through TikTok or whether it's through her story, but they were just the most entertaining thing. I would just watch over and over, and I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. And it would just be such teaching moments, little snapshots of what this food does for you or what that can provide you. And I was like, this needs to be a thing. And soon I'm sure it's taken off. But I'm so glad that she came on tonight to kind of give my audience and give her audience a little more of how those two can work together. So I work in the feeling industry, she works in the food industry, and these two go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, I mean hand and foot. So with that being said, so many people come to see me, and some of their first issues or things that they want to express are, I feel depressed, I feel anxious, some things aren't going right. And a lot of it is mood instability. And some of our first response to kind of helping to, treat that is not always what you're eating. It is usually, can I get an antidepressant? Can I take a medication for this? How can I get a quick fix? We don't always essentially like to think about what we're doing to contribute to what this, issue could be, and how simple of a fix it really could be if it is, or how simply you can find the benefit of feeling better by making one or two changes. So I do want to go on and say this very early, and I'll probably repeat this, that we're not trying to insult you or tell you to throw your refrigerator out or like change your entire lifestyle, but it really is like one choice at a time. So if you just switch one little choice, like maybe don't get the French fries, maybe get the fruit, or maybe don't get, you know what I mean? Maybe don't buy, or maybe don't get French fries while you're out. Maybe get sweet potato fries, or it could be little simple things like that. We're not saying go vegan, and we're not saying be a pescatarian. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is what you're putting in directly affects what's coming out. That's all. That's the message, right?
Yep.
So the message about food that we got, that we get, was taught so early, and we were just discussing this about when your parents made a plate, you ate it. And it was like, that's the choice, that's the meal option, and eat all of it.
Yes.
Don't waste your food, right? So you could be full and you need to eat all your food still. The choices we have today, and we didn't have a lot of like, well, I don't want that vegetable. Can I have this? Vegetables, we didn't want to eat that, so on and so forth. And so those messages get transmitted and just deposited at a very early age. Once we're able to get old enough to buy the food we want to buy because we might have gotten allowance, here you are at the mall in the food court, right? Like that was the goal. It was like, I'm in the food court, I'm about to see what this Asian meal gonna be for these $5.99 deals or these dollar whoppers or whatever it is. And we were so excited, and it kind of went along with the whole experience of feeling like you're making some choices.
Yeah.
Not really realizing that those choices were just making further and further deposits into these habits we were going to have. And so you almost feel like you're treating yourself when you're eating the things you that feel good. It's like, oh, I had a hard day, I'm about to eat a such and such, or I had a hard week, I'm about to drink 2 or 3 glasses of wine or grab a beer and some wings. Like you equate one with the other, And it really is just the relationship that we've made. Do you think about that too, Kim?
I do. I know habits form when we're very small, and we expect to shed those habits as quick, really fast, like within 30 days, 60 days. You really have to teach yourself. In order to do that, you have to, number one, make the choice. Two, find out the information you need to make those changes, get some support, um, make a goal. So you go into the food court, like you said, and there's just so many choices, and we're overwhelmed because we've seen the commercials. It's just popular. We don't think
Mm-hmm.
anywhere we can go and get fresh fruit or, you know. So I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, it's habit, and they're hard to break, and it's you shame yourself because you're like I.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make choices that aren't good for you, they spiral. They start to spiral.
Yeah,
So I think
they
the best
do.
is to set small goals. I was telling you earlier this week. Um, I choose my food like I choose my clothes. What I need to prepare for that day. If it's cold outside or it's raining, you take an umbrella or a jacket, right? You're going to the beach, you take your bathing suit, all the stuff that you need. How are you feeling when you hit the floor in the morning? You should be taking an assessment of how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Do I really need
Mm-hmm.
the roll? Because that is what would make me feel good about driving to work and having to do something that I really don't want to do.
Yep.
Or do I fuel myself with maybe some healthy oats, some fruit, some fresh squeezed juice, so I can feel good about doing my job, or wherever I'm going, I can feel good. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's important to choose
Yeah.
daily. Yeah.
It's hard enough to pull up to jobs some days. And don't let it be a Monday. Okay? Mondays is a no. So it's already hard to make that decision and feel amped and hyped about going to
Yep.
work. And so it's like, it's no point of stopping to grab the heaviest of things or the things that are going to make us feel lethargic right before or so on and so forth. So it's just those little small things. One thing I want to tell you all, and this is my little teachy moment, right? Serotonin. Serotonin is the primary hormone inside of all of us that directly impacts our mood. It directly impacts your level of depression, happiness,
Yep.
anxiety. It impacts your sense of well being. Your serotonin is made in the gut, right? Right
Yes.
down in that little area that all this food is sitting on top of that we think is primarily in our brains. Well, it's not, right? That's where it moves. And so you have to be so mindful that, and I had no idea about this until I was trained to know that when that is disrupted, when the gut is disrupted, so so is a lot of other things. Your body doesn't heal properly, it doesn't digest properly, it doesn't perform properly. We automatically want to think like, oh, maybe I should just take something for upset stomach. But you're
Mhm.
constantly piling in the same stuff that's causing it to feel uneasy. To go to bed and your stomach is still trying to digest and break down, right? And we talked about this before too. Like you get full and all of a sudden that itis pops in.
Mhm.
It's the immediate desire to go lay it down. Go
Just
lay it down. Because the body's working overtime. It's like, girl, if you chew one more thing,
it's
I
trying
know
to figure
something.
out how to process all that stuff that you just put into it. So
Mm-hmm.
drinking water helps with digestion. It helps with gut health. It boosts your mood.
Mm-hmm.
So going to bed after you or going to sleep after you eat something, save room for water. It's gonna help get all of that processed through the way you need it to. But you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's directly gut health. I mean, that's gut 101.
We're automatically taught to eat until we're full. It's not, we don't always get the message to eat until, you curb the hunger or you eat out of necessity or you eat, adequate portions. We're taught to like knock down the buffet
Yeah.
or eat like it's Thanksgiving or Sundays is for gluttony almost, and it's just a it's cultural. I know it is. And it's not just a white, black, or anything like that. It literally is cultural. And it's the American way. If you go to some other countries, those portion sizes are so small and they're fine. And I've been to a few countries and I'm like, this it? Yeah, that's it. Where's the
A
no
while ago, my
seconds? They're
family
like,
and I adopted,
mhm,
we adopted this thing like family style eating. You know, we just put everything in the
family
middle of
style
the
eating.
table. Yeah, just
Yeah,
choose whatever it is that you want. Back to when you were saying when we were kids, your mom's like eat everything on that plate, everything that I cooked. This is a way to introduce new foods, not waste
yeah,
anything. Um,
yeah.
so,
I
yeah,
think that's great. I love when I go to restaurants now and I see that that's an option.
yes.
Family style servings that come out, family style side dishes, and I love that that's an option.
Oh,
So, kind of getting back to the teaching moment about that, one thing that we do as a society as well is that we make moves that we feel like are drastic when it comes to crisis.
mm-hmm.
When the doctor tells us that we have a new diagnosis of hypertension, which is high blood pressure, y'all, at the age of 30 something, we're like, oh, what? That's for old people.
Yeah.
Or you're diabetic, or you're borderline diabetic, or you have cancer, or there's some struggles with your sexual performance, or fibroids, or whatever the case may be. And they tell you immediately, hey, these are preventable
100%.
and they're reversible. So if you do this, if you eat this, drink this, do less of that, do more of this,
Mm-hmm.
some of us respond just off of that. Like, okay, I'm about to start over. I'm about to do a cleanse. I'm about to, jump into it and do something that I know I need to do. And then some of us kind of like, well, it's not that bad. I'm gonna do half of it and ride the borderline. And some of us totally dismiss it until we're in the ER.
Yep.
Some of
Right.
us totally dismiss it until we need surgery or until we need an implant or until we need something a little more permanent. And then unfortunately, some of us still go with it then too. Like
Mm-hmm.
like we know people that are diabetic that would literally say, I'm gonna drink a Diet Coke, but pass me this loaded potato.
Yes.
Or we know people that have hypertension that will literally say, I am going to drink some water as long as I can eat all the hot Cheetos, right? Knowing they're full of salt. It's just little things like that. And so, even with that being said, eating those things never support our emotional health. So,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many ways that we can avoid, minimize, decrease, eliminate depression, anxiety, panic issues, mood instability, when it comes to what you're putting in your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so again, we don't want to tell you to throw your whole refrigerator away, but it does come with little small choices.
Mm-hmm.
The choices that you're making are cognitive. They are all mental. They're choices, right? You are solely responsible for that. And that's what Gray was trying to tell us previously. Like, we're responsible for the things we eat. And that's why, even some of you all who watch the news or kind of keep up on social media, you can clearly see that one of the more successful programs that is new that's out is called Noon. This Noon program has taken off. It has skyrocketed. And people are like, it's successful. I'm losing weight. I feel so much better. They're having these aha moments, these light bulbs going off. But it's really because they've trained their mind to make these decisions. Our thoughts control our behavior.
Yep.
So if your thoughts are, I don't have to have that, or I don't have to have as much of that, or I'm satisfied with this amount, then that's what you'll do, right? And it
Yep.
kind of falls in line with food management, prepping. And I'll be the first to admit, I can write a grocery list. If I go into the store and I see something that say 2 for $5,
You
I'm
get
picking it up. I'm picking it up. Yeah. If I walk past the manager special, because I love a sale, if
it.
I walk past the manager special and it's like on its way out and it's like half the price, I'm like, oh, that's for me.
You
They
gotta
left that for me.
shop. You go over, you look at it, it's so pretty, enjoy it, and then you walk away.
Yeah. I haven't mastered that, and that's one of the problems. But that's a cognitive thing. So I literally had to tell myself, you don't have to have that. That
Yeah.
you didn't come in here for that. That is not what your budget said. I thought you were going to stay on track. You need to do better. So one of the things that came out of this 2020 year that we just got through was the influx of ordering your food, ordering your groceries. It's so intentional, right?
Yeah.
Pull up, call on the phone. I'm in spot number 12. They
Yes.
come out, load the car. Not only did you save your budget, but you saved your belly at the
Yeah.
same time, right? And then it'll
And
help you look at your list like, why did you pick those Doritos and you really could have got Sun Chips? So why did you do? So it'll really help you when you can make these decisions, and that is solely on you. That's solely on you. So ordering our groceries was helpful. Meal planning is helpful. But maybe you can get into, and I'm sorry, Facebook. You know, the Facebook guys weren't on our side. We've been haggling with this for like 2 days. But anyway, I'm gonna share the same information. So we're gonna let Gray kind of jump into the fact of some foods that really directly impact our moods. So let's hear those.
Okay, so foods that impact our moods. Categories. You talk about salty foods, sugary foods, and I'm talking things that are good for you too. I'm not just talking bad foods. My guilty
Okay.
pleasure is probably potato chips, plain.
Potato chips.
You crave these things, and the science is trying to figure out why.
Okay.
What am I sad? Am I anxious? Am I depressed? Am I happy? So I don't know what these neural transmitters in your mind kind of, what if that's even the right word, that send these signals off that tell your body, hey, I want these things. We can
Mm-hmm.
ourselves not, well, obviously out of discipline to not have those things, but foods that we deem as not good for us: potato chips, cookies,
Okay.
cake, things that we tend to eat when we're stress eating, because we talked about that.
Stress eating. Cookies, cake, potato chips.
Yeah. You can replace those things. A lot of times it's sensory. It's the
Okay.
crunch. It's the texture of something.
Okay.
I was at my parents' house over the holiday, and I usually crave kind of what we were just talking about, salty foods. And for the substitute, I added hummus and like sugar snap peas. Gave me the same, you know, crunch that I needed, sensory things I needed to do with my hands, but I knew I was eating something.
All
Yeah.
right. So let me share that. So oftentimes our brains are attracted to things that go pop, crunch, because that's out of habit, right? So all
I,
potato chips crunch. Most of them are salty. Some of them have that salty sweet kind of thing going on. And so you're saying that you can replace those with snap peas,
peas, carrots, celery.
carrots, and
Yep.
you know what else have been good that we've been eating a lot of in our house are those veggie straws that
Yeah.
come in the chip bags,
Hmm.
baked pita chips, um,
Like your
even
banana,
the
dried fruit, all that crunch.
dry fruit, things
Nuts.
of that sort. Hummus gives you that salty kind of taste that you're
Yeah.
kind of looking for. And they've done a great job of dehydrating a lot of vegetables in bags. Those little snap, I wish I had some here. Those little snap bags. We've been eating a lot of those. Even
Yeah.
dry seaweed,
Okra,
um, okra, yeah,
squash.
yeah. So dried vegetables are good for you guys. That's a good option to kind of swap out the crunch and salt that you're looking for, and it won't be as heavy, so it won't feel like a depressant on your system.
Yeah.
That's the feeling part. All right.
Yeah.
So what are some things that we can do that can help that are like natural antidepressants? What are some things that we can eat?
Natural antidepressants. Actually, I wrote a couple down.
Okay,
Um,
good. And I remember when you talked about this before, you talked about pineapple. That
yes.
is by
So,
far one of my favorite fruits. We eat that weekly.
yeah, a dark chocolate. People think
Dark chocolate.
dark chocolate, not your milk
Okay.
chocolate, that
Not
sweet.
milk chocolate, not a
No,
Milky Way.
no, dark
Dark.
chocolate,
Okay. All right.
food, bananas, kombucha,
Okay.
berries.
Bananas.
Yeah, nuts, seeds, coffee, but not your Starbucks. Drive through add this 2 pumps of vanilla, just plain black coffee. Add a little vanilla.
Plain black coffee. Okay, so help me with this, all right? Because I don't do well with plain black coffee. And I don't know if it's because I'm trained that way, but it just tastes, I don't know, not right.
Okay.
So what kind of coffee? Because it can't be Folgers and Sanka. That's not it. So tell me
So
what.
yes, I mean, you and I are both in Atlanta, and we have the fresh market.
Yep.
If you go in, you buy your coffee beans whole. You can
Oh,
grind them.
yeah. Yeah.
They've got some
Okay.
really coffees there.
Yeah. All right. So those
Yeah.
of y'all who have fresh markets by your home, you can go
Mhm.
to the market and buy your own coffee beans. Even grocery stores sell them now, but
Yep.
I think they're fresher at the markets as well. And you're right. I did notice going back to other other societies and in other places, other cultures, that they drink a lot of black coffee
Mhm.
because their coffee is not as processed or burnt as ours. And they would it's like Hawaii and Africa and South America and places like that are known for their coffee bean. They don't over process it. So you can drink it black.
Yeah.
Even that black owned bookstore in Lithonia, I think I broadcast live there one time, but they have the most profound coffee, and I drank it black. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I cannot believe I'm drinking this. But so if you find a good quality coffee, that's how you can really tell the difference when you don't have to overload it with cream, sugar, and
Sure.
all the other fixings you want to put in it. Yeah. So coffee is a stimulant.
Yep.
It also helps kind of flush some stuff out. It kind of helps keep you a little regular in the tummy area in case any of y'all got a little problem, a little backed up.
Yes.
But you can't add all that. You can't add all that other stuff into it,
Yeah.
because then, yeah. So coffee is good for that as well.
Yep.
But I had no idea that pineapple was such a natural antidepressant, and I eat that all. Well, we eat it all the time. I had no idea, and a natural decongestant. I remember you said that too.
Hmm.
All right. So what are some other things you got for us?
We were talking about foods that boost our mood. They have a foods that are preventative in healing. You're gonna move to your
Okay.
herbs, fruits. It's simple seasonings you put on your food, like turmeric,
Seasonings. Okay.
yeah,
Turmeric,
and cayenne pepper, uh,
cayenne pepper.
peppermint. You find little mint sprigs. You'd be surprised if you pop one of those little leaves and you chew on them. It just the sensory,
What
the
seed is that?
eucalyptus, peppermint, just a mint leaf.
Peppermint, the mint. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. You know what? And that's probably why they're so beneficial when they become essential oil,
Hmm.
like peppermint oil, eucalyptus oil, things of that sort, because not only are they healing in that aspect, they're so stimulating to the senses
Yes.
that it does help a lot of calmer, kind of calm moods and kind of regulate your moods as well.
Yeah.
I burn those in my office often, even through the house sometimes. But eucalyptus is helpful. Lavender is
Yeah.
also helpful when it comes to rest. So
Chamomile.
yeah, chamomile. Okay, yeah, chamomile tea. That's another good one, y'all. Chamomile tea is also great.
These things.
It also helps with sleep aids. It's so many people that have problems sleeping.
Eat some cherries, grapes.
Eat some cherries and grapes.
Yes,
Cherries and
have,
grapes.
they have natural melatonin, so they're
Shut
not
up.
gonna knock you out, but they kind of calm you down and get you in a right.
Cherries and grapes, y'all.
Yeah.
Natural melatonin.
Yeah.
Wow. Who knew? So she said they're not gonna knock you out like you
No,
took a whole glass of wine, but they
no,
will help calm.
calm you
That's
down.
that's really, really good to know. Yeah, because so many people have sleep problems and they kind of rationalize it at their point. They say things like, "Oh, I've always had problems sleeping. I don't need a lot of sleep, or I only sleep a few hours a day now. It's fine." And it's not. It's not. Poor sleep isn't fine.
No.
Nothing resets in your body when you don't get enough rest. Like it just does. And I know I've stayed up plenty of nights. I used to work overnight sometimes,
Hmm.
and can automatically feel the difference. Like, I am going to pass out when I get home. But some people just keep running and they're like, well, I only need a few hours. And that's not true. So grapes and cherries. What a
It,
good little nugget.
it's important to know too that these
Okay.
things are going to take longer to work than your prescription drug.
Say it.
So,
That's
and
it.
a lot of times we don't have the patience to give
Yep.
the grace that they need to work. So,
We
um,
don't have it.
like,
Let me share that real quick. We don't have the patience,
that
y'all. So
they,
Gray just said a mouthful, and this is for mental health, physical health, all of it. We don't have patience. If
mm-hmm,
the doctor can give us a quick fix, oh, we're in there. We're like, what? I could
mm-hmm,
take an Ativan? I'll take that. Versus you saying, oh, I have to walk every day or 3 times a day or drink more water and eat a pineapple. It's
we
like,
responsibility off of us and we put it in a cure or something that treats the symptoms. We become
okay.
separated from being active in our health. You know, if you're talking
Mm-hmm.
to your doctor and you're under a treatment plan of some sort and they don't discuss
Mm-hmm.
food with you, that they go hand in hand and how you
Yep.
feel.
Yep.
So, yeah, and these things take time to process through your body to create habit or healing and preventative care, treat symptoms, but they do work. They do
They
work.
do work. And I love that. Just that idea that Gray just shared, that we love a quick fix and put it a responsibility of other people. We will go to 10 specialists
Mm-hmm.
before we revamp our lifestyles. We will
Yeah.
put all the responsibility on someone else and at least say, well, they didn't get it right. So instead of
Yeah.
saying, okay, how can I take charge? And sometimes when people start to take charge, we think they're being extreme. We're
Yes.
like, oh my God, did you know she drove all the way to such and such to start eating this or practicing that or blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like, no, she just being, they're making responsible choices, whatever they need to do that's going to help them, especially feel like you're back in the driver's seat and
Mm-hmm.
controlling and managing your health and your lifestyle. It'll also help you control and manage your well-being
Yeah. And
emotionally and mentally.
let me tell you this. Let me say this. If
Okay.
you are on medication, what could it hurt to include a proper eating regimen? Like, what could it
Yeah.
hurt? It's only going to increase whatever
Yes.
that medication is, helping you with. If it's long term, and there are people who need to be on medication. I'm not saying I'm not an advocate
Absolutely.
of that,
Absolutely.
but it's like just how much better quality of life will you feel, if you're eating properly as well.
So how much could it hurt if you're already on medication, if you already have a diagnosis, if you're already experiencing, crisis and getting treatment, how little of a change can you make just by a couple of choices?
Yeah.
If you have the ability to add a few things in your regimen, to add some blueberries and strawberries to your breakfast if you're already eating cereal, or to add some nuts and grains to your lunch if you're already eating a salad. Like, we're not saying don't eat the salad, just add these few things in it and it will help enhance the experience of the food that's going in so you can get all the benefits of what's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good way to say that.
Yes.
That's how that works. Just like that, right?
Yep.
So, what are your thoughts about so this is my one of my biggest struggles. I love to eat out,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in my mind, I have made this, I don't know, like an adventure to, oh my God, there's a new restaurant. I got to try it. Now I don't have to have a full plate, but in my mind I want to experience it. Um, Especially if it's owned, a small little mom and pop. And there's been so many, lost these days because of, the situation we're in economically. And so anyway, it's hard to eat out and plan that well. I know sometimes we'll look at the menu just to see what they have. We don't always look to see like what's the better choice. We'll look to see what's good there, and it could be something as simple as a drive-through. But we place so much, and this is kind of twofold. So we'll talk about eating out and planning when you're eating out, and then how much value we place on what things we own, how we dress, what we show versus what we put in our body that's going to last a lifetime. We
Mhm.
love these temporary things that feel good, like, oh my God, I just bought the cutest pair of boots,
Yes.
versus I'm going to spend that money on some fresh produce or whatever the case may be. So let's talk about that. Like, how do we plan to eat healthy when we go out? And name a few restaurants if you can, and what's some good choices there.
Okay. So,
Okay.
say my first advocacy for someone who has diet needs or is trying to change habits, prep your own food if you can.
Prep
There's
your food if you can. Okay.
about this having almonds in our purse. I have like an apple or orange, just something in case I get stuck. But
Okay.
the best way is to look on the menu before you go, so you're not
Okay.
stuck in the aisle, waiting and like trying to read through the menu, figure out, what could possibly be good for you. We talk
Okay. So let me
about,
share that. Hold on, Kim.
yes,
So check the menu before you go.
yeah. I'm
Check
vegan
the options before you go and
when
try to
yeah,
plan your choices better.
yeah,
Okay.
when I go to places, I already know from Burger King to, well, there's really not much you can eat there, but
At
anywhere
Burger.
I'm going, I know
Right.
exactly what is on that menu. And a lot of the places have these like secret menus. And you go online and they have like a whole gluten free or a vegetarian menu that they don't advertise normally.
Okay.
So yeah, Taco Bell is one of my guilty pleasures, and I get a black bean crunch wrap from them, and it's literally
Okay. Hold the press. So Taco Bell is one of her guilty pleasures, she says, right? And
yeah,
she says she eats a black bean crunch taco,
yeah wrap. It's
a
like
wrap,
this, yeah,
crunch wrap. Okay, yeah, no. So when I'm in Taco Bell, I want the chalupa with all the stuff on it, with the sour cream that drip down the side,
yeah.
right? So, um, and I don't eat Taco Bell too often, but that's my thing. And I just came off of a fast. And
Okay.
I had to be so creative when I thought about what I was grabbing the kids sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that Taco Bell had that black bean. I was like, oh, all right. And then they had something called like an impossible taco maybe, or something different like that. Anyway, it was like the vegetarian version of some stuff. So there are some things that you can eat. Even at Burger
Yeah.
King, they have the impossible. I think it's called the Impossible Whopper or something like that, and it's not beef, but it
Okay.
has all the garden stuff on it. It's kind of like a veggie patty kind of thing. So that is right. You can really look at the menu, where
Yeah.
you're going, and know what you're going to eat. And some of these restaurants have, like you said, secret menus. That's not the first thing they're going to offer you. It's not the first thing that's flashing. That's not going to be 2 for $5. Let's just tell y'all that, right? That's not 2 for $5. So let's add another $2 to that menu and eat a little better by
Yes.
these choices. And you're right, it really does taste fine. It's fine.
And then you have your hacks where you're like, can I have extra lettuce or extra
Okay.
tomato, extra onions? And there's no charge for that, but you're getting
Okay.
all extra vegetables, more
So
stuff that,
add extra vegetables when you can. Because if you add extra cheese, it's going to be $1.
yeah,
Y'all
that's a
hear that?
too. So
It's
anyone
going
who
to be a
shops
dollar.
for bread, um, ask for
Okay.
extra vegetables. They're not going to be any more money.
Extra vegetables. All right. Okay. What else you got?
Oh, ooh, let me see. We talked about Taco Bell, my favorite, right?
Yep.
Everything at Panera you can eat. Salads are going to be amazing. Their dressing comes on the side and they portion it out at 2 ounces, which is appropriate serving size. It's just to toss it, give it some flavor.
Okay.
Um,
So
but you can,
everything at Panera is good on that menu. They
yes,
portion it out appropriately. They put the dressing on the side so it's not overrun with that, and it's great portion sizes so you won't feel overwhelmed with the content of the salad. Okay, that's good to know. I'm a Panera fan. I
yes,
am.
for them for like 5 years, and they are really
Okay.
about eating clean or clean. But yes, very, very good food.
Okay. What
When
about Chipotle?
ooh, they just came out with the cauliflower lime rice.
They just came out with a
I
cauliflower
tried it.
bowl at Chipotle, y'all.
It was good. It was good, but mine is better. Oh, I'm eating it like
Okay, so what's your choice at Chipotle? What do you order?
I always get the bowl because
Okay.
like sometimes we can go without the tortilla and the extra carbs and just our body having to process all of that. Um,
Okay.
and I load on all the vegetables. Again, I'm like, give it all to me. She's like, do you want the corn? I'm like, yep, I want the tomatoes, the corn. You got it. If it's green, put it on there.
All right.
So
So
Chipotle
at
said
Chipotle, load the vegetables. Take
loaded in a
all the corn, all the salsa, the beans, and you will get full, and it's a lot, and it's really hearty. I'll agree with that. I do put more meat. I have. I'm not the biggest. My kids are bigger Chipotle fans, but when I go, I will get something with definitely more veggies in it. But I was excited to hear about the cauliflower bowl because I like cauliflower rice.
girl. It was
I
good.
never knew I had to like cauliflower rice until this fast. Well, I had to figure it out, but I like it. And especially when it's already, if you get that cauliflower bowl and all that stuff on it, you're not going to care if it's rice or cauliflower. You want all the other stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm. And you
Yeah,
know, it's comparable to rice, and it's just so
it's
much better.
comparable to rice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. All right, so that's a good one. Chipotle. Y'all
Yep.
got that? Chipotle.
The what? Impossible Burger. I had when it first came out. I went on a binge, and then
Okay.
and then I had to sit myself down and be like, "Look,
That's enough.
stop." And
That's enough. You
had
had to tell yourself to stop. Okay.
yes,
All right. So one thing that I have now this is I'm about to step on some toes. I already know.
oh,
However, I feel like once we get stuck on a fad or something that's um like popular, we don't know how to rest it. And so if I see one more post about crab legs, one more, I'm gonna lose it. And they're crab legs are great, right? But we
so
get stuck
don't.
on that thing and we want to talk about
I'm
how we
right.
dipping it in all the butter and how and I don't want it unless it's dripping and blah blah blah. And it's kind of like you can't eat that every week.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
you can't.
ooh, they do.
I know. I
They do.
know. And I know some of y'all mad right now I said that, but it's okay.
The questions
Because
I get the most in my messages are like, what is this good for? And help me, what can I eat for this? And then you go down the post and it's like, you know, all these bad foods and I'm just like, it's not gonna help you today. You
yeah,
gotta it's gotta be a habit, but good luck.
yeah, it's got to be a habit.
Yeah.
Um I think it's so I do think that you can reward yourself with great experiences, right? If you know that you have something special coming up that you want to celebrate and you're going to eat the things you want to eat, right? Like, okay, just know that leading up to it, you shouldn't be eating everything you want to eat
Hmm.
all the way up into that, right? Because how is that special then? How is that a reward if you're rewarding yourself every day? So I think it's so important if we can just plan that way because if we're eating heavy, saturated, fried, saucy, all of those buttery, all those kind of things all the time, you wake up feeling tired. Your body is still working. You wake up feeling your system is literally depressed, right?
Hmm.
And that just means moving at a much slower pace than it normally could. And after people do these cleanses, they're like, oh my God, I have all this energy now. Oh my God, the world is brighter. The birds are chirping a little louder. Like everything feels because all your senses, all your neurons are firing. Like
Yep.
everything's alive. And that's how it feels. So it directly impacts even your level of anxiety. Like I have so many people that deal with anxiety has been high this year. Even for those of us who don't typically deal with anxiety because it's a lot of unknowns. Like what is this world coming to? When are we going to get out of the house? When is the air going to get a bath? That's my joke about COVID. So when is the air going to clear up a little bit? When is God going to spare us? Like whatever it is, we have such anxiety for those of us who don't normally have anxiety because it's a lot of unknowns. We can't control it. And we're a society that likes to control stuff. We like to plan A, B, and C, and we couldn't do anything about it. But the one thing that we can control is some of our thoughts, and we can control some of our intake. If we took more time to do that when it comes to what we're eating, how we're eating it, some of this anxiety would lessen. It wouldn't necessarily go away because the situation is still there, but it would lessen. Your moods would lighten up a little bit. Your sleep would improve. And you can find ways around the house or whatever your restricted environment is to make the best of what we got going on right now. Like we're in 2021 and we still like we were in August, really.
Yeah.
Like, some parts of the world, like Atlanta, we're a little wild and we're a little open out here in these streets. But, some parts of the world are not, and everybody is trying to figure out ways to manage and cope with that. I think if we gave that some more thought about what we can control, we will feel like we're in more control, right? If you can grocery shop a little differently, if you can drink one glass of wine versus three, if you can, right? If you can order things like, they even have drinks that don't have as much sugar, like skinny martinis or whatever the case may be. If you can go to a restaurant and say, I'll have baked wings instead of fries, I don't care what it is, just one choice, just one little decision. And I myself have decided to make quite a few changes when it comes to dietary. Now I'm going to eat, right? Everybody know me, no, I'm going to eat. But I've definitely made a lot of choices that have definitely impacted just how I feel, right? So fresh green beans versus fresh vegetables, period, versus canned stuff.
Yep.
That's a go.
That's
an easy swap.
And that's an easy change.
Yeah, that's an easy swap. Yeah, that's an easy swap. I've done sherbet instead of ice cream.
Yep.
I've done frozen grapes just to get the crunch when I really wanted to eat something else.
Yep.
Yeah, right? Like yeah, and I just think about those things. I went on this whole baked sweet potato binge when I was doing my fast, and now I'm so in love with that. It became a habit. Now it's a lifestyle change. So every time I want to, it doesn't have to be a white potato, or it doesn't necessarily have to be loaded with stuff. I learned to eat it naturally. And when you start to deprive yourself just a little bit of all the loaded stuff, you can taste the natural beauty in these foods. Like these sweet potatoes are so sweet. I'm like, why am I loading this stuff with stuff? They're great.
Yes. It's like, why are we putting all these sauces and weird things on it?
Weird thing. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm glad that we kind of touched on this. I feel like if we all take some time to kind of make decisions that we can make on our own, we won't rely so much on doctors and prescriptions and someone else to be responsible for our health. We will feel more in charge. I think sometimes that scares us. I think a lot of times people shy away from the responsibility of that, so they like to blame it on others, right? Like, because if you got to own your own shit, then it's scary. It's kind of like, oh, is that my fault?
Yeah,
It is
accountable to you, and you answer for, when Sean and I are talking, I'm always saying to him, I have the exact body that I want because I'm putting into it every day. And it's not what I want necessarily see myself. It's just, wait, how do I say this? How I see myself, you work towards it every single day.
Yeah.
So you in yourself healthier, you do healthier things, you make healthier choices. You see yourself.
If you see yourself as healthier, you'll make healthier choices to get to what that is.
Yeah, you do what's necessary to get to that goal by one decision at a time. So we don't
okay.
Okay. I think it's important to go slow.
I want to kind of remind y'all as well that, excuse me, make sure we got all our little points out. I want to kind of remind y'all that our thoughts will control our behavior. It's cognitive. If we start there, we will make these decisions that will directly impact our what we're taking in, what we're buying, what we value. We will value things like, I'm going to spend an extra dollar on this water. Now, I'm not saying you got to buy Fiji water. No diss to Fiji, right? But I am saying that you can say, okay, well, I like the taste of that alkaline water, regardless of who makes it. I'm going to buy that. And I like alkaline water. It's so good for the system. So you can say, I'm going to do that versus whatever. You can start to say things like, I like the taste of seltzer water. It kind of gives me the same fizz as soda, but I don't have to have the sugar in soda. And I start to do things like squeeze fruit in it and squeeze like lemons and limes and strawberries. But water, good old plain water, is a thing. It's a thing. I'll drink one water and just sip on it. That's not right. And then I'm like, why are my nails so dry? What is up with my hair? Pop, like, it's the lack of water, like dehydrated. When you're dehydrated, you physically you're tight, you're so sluggish, and you want to blame it on everything else. Oh, I overate, I didn't get enough sleep. You need some water. Plain water. And so a good way to kind of get that in is to dress it up in a cute little water bottle if you want to. Go right over to Marshalls or Target or TJ Maxx and get you a cute little bottle. Write your little name on it. My daughter bedazzles hers, whatever you need to do.
All right.
Right? And you don't have to be, our little refrigerators these days are a little fancy. We got little filters on them. Fill that water bottle right on up. You don't have to overbuy, whatever the case may be, and drink bottles of it a day. Now, you can still have your coffee, drink water behind it.
Yep.
Water tastes great with meals. It helps flush, and it's so good for the skin. For those of y'all who can't see Gray on Facebook, her skin looks like life, okay? We are the same age. When I tell you, I've looked at her a couple times like, girl. Right. So, water. Make sure that you are drinking as much as you can. And it's encouraging to know that water is inexpensive. It is readily available. And there are so many people, not to be a downer, but there are many people in this world that are fighting to have water. Don't have clean water. And here we are like running water.
Yep.
Wasting water. Ignoring water, minimizing water, decreasing, or even just kind of acting like it's not even that important. And we're made up of water, so not the I can't get that I can't drive that home enough. But anyway, let me get off my water soapbox. I just want y'all to know that it's a quicker fix.
Yep.
If you're hydrated, so you don't have to always run to what feels good fast and try to figure that out. But I really, really appreciate you joining me tonight on this live. And try to spread this information to y'all. They're little bitty nuggets, little bitty things we can do. Our emotional health is so important. Y'all know I try to come on here and give y'all all I got to let y'all know about these little small aspects of this is part of mental health. What are you eating? On my intake form, when I get new clients, that's a part of the intake form. How's your diet? Or how's your appetite? And if they tell me I'm not eating well, oh, okay, let's talk about that. Or I'm not sleeping well, or I take this medication, but I only eat one time a day. Oh, and you want that medicine to work? That's not how that works. Like, yeah, you can't take high blood pressure medicine and eat crackers.
Yes.
And that's it. Eat crackers and drink a Pepsi.
Yes.
You caught that? Like, that's a no. That does not work. You can't do that. That's not how that works. You can't. Yeah. You can't tell me you're on metformin for diabetes and the only thing you had today was the tuna fish sandwich all day. That's not how that works. You have got to have one system that affects the other, that affects the other, that affects the other.
And I'm glad that you ask people that, like, hey, because that tells a lot. You know, in the very beginning, when I go to see my doctor, first thing she asks, hey, what have you been eating? Or what have you eating? How have you restricted yourself again? What did you read? So I can get off on a tangent, but you're right. Water. Water is
Water.
it. Asking yourself what you eat every day, making choices daily to be healthy is gonna fix it.
Yeah. Choices every day, y'all. Little
Yeah.
small fixes every day. So even if it starts with small things like portion size, you can start there. So instead of going and getting um, a double burger somewhere, get a junior. Or instead of going to get a burger, get a chicken sandwich or get fish or whatever the case may be. Like you can start real small, real simple. Instead of getting the Coca-Cola, maybe get a lemonade, and that's sugary too, but start somewhere. Just start, bringing that stuff down somewhere and watch how your mood
Mm-hmm.
changes.
Yep.
Watch how your emotional health stabilizes. Watch how your feelings and food kind of match up, and you will be able to see the direct relation with that. I would encourage everybody to try to start like a 2-week challenge for yourself and just try to see what small changes you can make and write them down. Even if you got to keep a little notepad in your car, even if you got to grab the little notepad on your phone and just say, okay, today I had that, or I chose this instead of that. It can be the smallest thing. I'm a big candy person too. Got a whole candy drawer. It's a thing. And I literally had to swap out some of that. Like, okay, don't buy any more now later.
I'm coming over there. I'm gonna clear out that drawer and I'm gonna put
See how we about to end this? See
I'm
that already?
in there for you.
Let me tell you, I had to get rid of the now laters, right? And what I started to do was take them to my office that I only go to once a week,
Mm-hmm.
so I can only eat 2 a week. I had to restrict myself because otherwise it was daily. Like, oh,
Change,
I can't want.
changing habits.
It was a change of habit, y'all. I was struggling. I have candy bowls in my office. My clients come in, I'm like, yeah. They're like, what you got new? I got the new lifesavers, y'all. It's a whole thing. So
Oranges
little bitty
put on
habits.
your desk.
Say it
Oranges.
again.
I'm gonna put some little oranges on your desk for your
Oh,
clients.
so now I'm gonna have clementines, y'all. I'm about to put some
They're
clementines out. But I did start to get some sugar-free stuff. I got sugar-free mints. I got sugar-free lifesavers. I felt really good about that. So we had to hurry up and go through the Sour Patch Kids. And this is why I had to get rid of the Sour Patch Bowl, y'all. This is why. However, we're gonna all do a little better. 2-week challenge. I'm challenging all of y'all. Just 2 weeks.
okay.
We could do
I'm
that,
on
right?
that challenge. I'm
You
yes.
up for it? All right. So we're gonna tag and
Yes.
post our progress and see how that's going. And I'm gonna compare
Okay.
what I used to eat at this specific place versus the little change I made. And I don't care if it's a side dish. I think everybody should start to
Okay.
post and catch up on how that goes. So thank y'all for joining us. I know we've been rambling. It's already been an hour. You see how fast the time go by? Thank y'all for
Yes.
joining us. Until next time, Wellness Wednesdays. Y'all have a good night.